So Season 3 just came out yesterday, and of course that means we get a entire new Team Affinity program. We get 6 divisions, we get new henchmen and bosses, but this time we actually got a Team Affinity collection, which helps out with the whole grind 99 aspect because the bosses are 97s. But regardless, in the last season I did a tier list for the Team Affinity rewards, and you guys love that video. That was like one of my most successful videos of all time. By far my most successful video of MLB The Show 23. So, of course, we're going to do it again, but this time with Season 3. Starting off with the D tier, we have Charlie Morton, D Gordon, Hyunjin Ryu, Tommy LaStella, and Vita Blue. Starting off the D tier, we have Charlie Morton of the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys, this was really hard to rank because all these cards are pretty similar. I just found unique things that make them either better or worse. And for Charlie Morton's sake, it's his pitch mix, 12-6 four-seam sinker, cutter, splitter. Actually, it's not horrible, but I really don't like the 12-6 in this game. I would much rather have a slurve or a slider, and the only horizontal movement he has is a cutter, and he doesn't throw that hard either. The next guy in the D tier is D Gordon. Now, look, D Gordon, I hate facing him because the only people who use him are people who are just griefers who want to bunt cheese and steal. And look, he has maxed out contact and clutch, and he's going to be annoying with bunting, and he has really good speed and defense. But it's like, nobody's using this guy. He has absolutely no power. He's a noodle bat. He can play a ton of spots, but he's really not that good. Here's another pitcher in the D tier, Hyunjin Ryu. Now, look, he doesn't have a horrible pitch mix, four-seam circle change cutter, 12-6 sinker, but he doesn't have any velo. He doesn't have any per nines. He has good clutch, but his control is meh. His break is pretty good. But there are just so many better options in this program. Now, Tommy LaStella, again, isn't really bad. None of these D-tier cards are bad. It's just they're not as good as the other ones. He's only really good against righties, doesn't have amazing clutch, doesn't have good defense either, so he's going to be in the D tier for me. The last card in the D tier is Vita Blue. Now, Vita Blue cards have never really been good in MLB The Show, which is such a shame because he was such an underrated all-time. If you put it in the grand scheme of the all-time pitchers, he's so underrated. But four-seam curveball, changeup, slider, not a good pitch mix. 75 Ks per nine is horrible. He has a good hits per nine in pitching control or pitching clutch. The control is pretty good and the break's pretty good, but not really that good. For the C tier, we have Jesse Winker, Jesus Aguilar, Josh Bell, J.R. Richard, Larry Doby, Paul Konerko, Ryan Ludwig, and Troy Glaus. Starting at the C tier, we have Jesse Winker. Now, I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me, strictly because Jesse Winker has a gross swing, but his contact versus lefties, yes, he has 120 clutch, which helps him out, and his defense, that alone will put him below guys above him. It's not like this is a bad card, it's just when you're ranking them on tiers, he's not as good as the guys above him. Kind of the same theme here with Jesus Aguilar. Now, he has really good power, and the contact is a little lower, but still alright, and his clutch is 115, so that helps him out. But the defense is just putrid. And again, not a bad card, but there are just better options. Another C tier guy, Josh Bell, pretty much the exact same story as Jesus Aguilar, has a little worse power and contact, but has a little better defense, and he has the 118 clutch. He's a switch hitter though, which Aguilar doesn't, and I don't think Aguilar has outfield in his secondaries, but again, pretty much the same thing. There are better cards in Team Affinity. J.R. Richard is in the C tier, and I'm going to be honest, if he didn't throw so hard, he would be in the D tier. Slider, four-seam, cutter, two-seam is just not going to cut it in ranked. Larry Doby, look, another pretty solid card. I mean, 125 clutch is great, but the stats versus lefties are not good, 97, 80, and there are better cards against righties with 100 and 115 versus righties, and he has okay defense as well, can play second on this card. I didn't even realize that, but still, he's like a meh card. Paul Konerko is pretty much the exact same thing as Jesus Aguilar, except he's got worse clutch, he's got worse defense, and he has worse contact versus lefties. The only reason he's not in the D tier is because I think he's better than those guys. He's a little worse than Jesus Aguilar, but again, another guy who you could do better than. Now, Ryan Ludwig is a little different. He's better defensively. He's in the gold across the board and diamond with the arm and the accuracy. He's an outfielder, a righty bat, throws lefty. 108, 90, 96, 119. Overall, is just okay. I mean, he's more of a balanced hitter, I guess you could say, because he has a little more contact and a little less power than the other guys. But again, I'm not taking him over guys in the B tier. The last guy in the C tier is Troy Glaus. Now, Troy Glaus, it's literally, again, the exact same thing as Jesus Aguilar, except he has worse clutch with 92 clutch. doesn't help him against lefties, but it helps him against righties. And he's at around 115 power, which pretty much all the home run derby cards have 115 power. But what he doesn't have is the contact that the other guys do have. For the B tier, we have David Dahl, Jake Peavy, Liam Hendricks, Max Scherzer, Mike Soroka, Noah Syndergaard, Raul Ibanez, and Torrey Hunter. Starting off the B tier, we have David Dahl from the Colorado Rockies. Now, David Dahl is better than the guys below him. He has really good contact, 112, 123 for right and left, and then the power is 102, 87, so the power versus lefties is a little lower than some other cards, which is why he's in the B tier and not in the A or the S tier. Also has amazing clutch. Jake Peavy is the first pitcher in the B tier. He's got four-seam cutter, sinker, slider, circle change. That pitch mix is very good. That pretty much alone will put him ahead of guys below him. The pitching clutch really hurts this card, though, which is ultimately why he's not an A tier. I mean, if that clutch was higher, he'd probably be an A tier. The first, and I think only reliever in Team Affinity this season is Liam Hendricks of the Oakland Athletics. Four-seam slider, knuckle curve. 109, 116 for the per nines are great. 118 pitching clutch is great. And the control is okay, and the break is pretty bad. I mean, there's nobody else to compare him to because there aren't any other relievers. So I've just compared him to the rest of the guys in Season 3, which is Set 2 and Set 3. And he stacks right around B tier. Here's another starting pitcher for the B tier. We got Max Scherzer from the Detroit Tigers. Four-seam circle change, slider, slurve, cutter is a gross pitch mix. 110 stamina, 102, 98 for the per nines. Again, clutch holding him back. Pretty much the exact same scenario as Jake Peavy. Mike Soroka from the Atlanta Braves. I think he just came back for them. He has been injured for so long, but when he was really good, he was really good. I mean, sinker, slider, four-seam, circle change, cutter, good pitch mix. The issue with this card, and the reason why he's in the B tier, is the Ks per nine is atrocious. 82 Ks per nine. Using that in ranked seasons, you're never going to strike anyone out. You're going to get so many foul balls. And the control is okay, and the break is okay. But overall, the pitching clutch and the hits per nine and the good pitch mix puts him in B tier. Noah Syndergaard is a very comparable pitcher to Mike Soroka. Sinker, slider, circle change, four-seam slurve. Another good pitch mix. Has outlier on the sinker, of course. He has 99 for both hit and Ks per nine and 102 pitching clutch. Control and break are both meh, but overall just pretty solid. Here's another guy in the NL East, Raul Ibanez, who has 92, 102 for the contact, 105, 118 power, 97 clutch. Now you're probably wondering why is he above the guys below him with similar attributes, and it's because he has a really good swing. I really like Raul Ibanez's swing. He's a lefty hitter, he has silver defense across the board, and he has reverse splits, which I actually like too. The last card for the B tier is Torrey Hunter. Now again, another comparable guy to the guys below him, also has 115 for both powers, 94, 100 contact, 106 clutch, helps him out a lot. The difference between him and the guys below him is he has better speed and defense. That's it. For the A tier, we have Jake Lamb, Jim Rice, Jonathan Scope, Chris Bryant, Mitch Haniger, Salvador Perez, and Trey Turner. For the A tier, we have Jake Lamb, and those of you OGs from MLB The Show 17 around that time, remember his silver card in BR was so unbelievably good, and it's his swing that makes him rake Lamb. That's literally the only reason why he's in the A tier. He honestly might have worse attributes. He has 123 discipline as well as the really good stats versus righties, and the clutch helps him with that putrid contact versus left. But his swing is just so good, man. Another guy in the A tier is Jim Rice, 102, 112, 101, 102, 102 for the hitting stats. He has gold defense and solid speed. I mean, he's better than the guys below him because the contact is better, the defense is better. Jim Rice is A tier. Here's another guy who I am obsessed with his swing, Jonathan Scope. Back when he was on the Orioles, 107, 117 contact, 95, 109 power, 114 clutch, gold defense, can play the entire infield. Just trust me on this one. His swing is so good, and combined with good stats, he's an A tier card. Chris Bryant is also in the A tier, is a little comparable to the guys below him with the contact and the power being 115, but the clutch is 103, which helps him. His defense is in the silver, and you can get it to gold, and the reason why he's above him is the defense is a little better, and he has good speed, and he has great defensive flexibility. I mean, this guy can play everywhere, gives you good power, okay contact, solid defense, and good speed. Mitch Haniger is another guy who I absolutely love his swing. 103, 122, 108 for the contact with 87 power. He's got 99 clutch, Defense is borderline gold if you parallel him one more time. And look, he's pretty similar to David Dahl, has a little worse contact and a little better power, I'm pretty sure. But they have similar defense. But Mitch Haniger's swing is just so good. I don't know why, it just makes him so much better. Salvador Perez is the reward for the Kansas City Royals, and Salvador Perez cards are always amazing. 90 for both contacts is a little low, but the 100 clutch helps him out, and the 97 125 power is very good, and the defense is not bad as well. 73 fielding is in the silver, blocking is in the gold, and his arm is diamond. This is a good catcher card. The last card in the A tier is going to be Trey Turner. Now look, I can't put this card in S tier. He's just not as good as the guys above him. But we all love Trey Turner. We all loved his All-Star Game card from 2021. And this card isn't as good, but it's very close. It's a lot closer than you guys probably think. 109, 125 contact with 125 clutch. Very, very good. 82, 90 power. A little low, but Trey Turner's swing helps him out with the power being a little lower. He's got defense. Literally, if you get a parallel 1, he'll be 80, 80, 82, 79. So if you get a parallel 2, they'll all be in the 80s. Parallel 1 for gold defense, and you know he's going to bring maxed out speed and base running aggressiveness. And lastly, for the S tier, we have Corbin Carroll, Jose Ramirez, Luis Arraez, Matt Olson, Shane McClanahan, Joey Gallo, and Gary Sanchez. Starting off the S tier, we have 2 cards from the Team Affinity programs. The first one is Joey Gallo. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Joey Gallo, when he gets high overall cards, they always rake. Have maxed out power and discipline. The contact is a little low versus righties, and the clutch is 80. But who cares? It's Joey Gallo. If you get a little captain boost, that contact and clutch won't really matter. And he's really good defensively, and he can play 5 spots. Call me a biased Yankee fan, I really do not care. This is the best catcher card in Season 3, not including the 99s. But those 99s are hard to get, and so if you want one that's easy to get, you got this Gary Sanchez. 102, 101 contact, 115, 115 power, 113 clutch. That's a plus for his contact, and his defense isn't horrible for Gary Sanchez cards. Continuing on now at the collection rewards, Shane McClanahan, 99 overall. I was thinking of putting him and Luis Arraez in A tier, but you just can't because they're better cards than the guys in A tier. Now, they're not as good as the other 3 cards in the collection, but in the grand scheme of this tier list, you have to put them in S tier. Not an amazing 99 overall, Shane McClanahan. 4-seam circle change, curveball slider. Not a good pitch mix, but he's got 125 clutch, really good stamina, home runs, and Ks per 9. I mean, he's a good starting pitcher. Like I said, was thinking about putting Luis Arraez in A tier, but you can't comparing it to the rest of the guys. Maxed out contact versus right and left, vision and clutch. Obviously going to happen when you're hitting near 400. The power is a little low, 87-94, 87-74. But the power actually plays a little higher when you have really good contact, vision, and clutch. And his defense is gold, and he can play pretty much everywhere. Believe it or not, I was actually considering putting Matt Olson in the A tier as well, but again, you can't do it. 111, 125 versus right is very good. 85 contact versus left is pretty much the only reason why. It's kind of low, but the 106 clutch helps him out a ton with that. I'm not going to use this card that much. I would probably use him as a pinch hitter versus righties, just because my team is so stacked. But if you get him, he's going to be really good for you, and he's got gold defense. The next guy in the collection rewards from Team Affinity is Jose Ramirez. This card is a beast. He's going right into my lineup right when I get him. Bye-bye David Wright. Jose Ramirez has pretty much everything David Wright has a little worse speed and a little worse arm, but he's basically a better hitter. 125, 123 for contact right, power left, with really good contact left, power right, and clutch. Has diamond defense, can play third, second, short, and left. This card's amazing. And finally, the last card in this tier list is 99 Corbin Carroll, the final reward for the Team Affinity collection. 120, 125 versus right, 115, 95 versus left, 121 clutch, diamond defense, maxed out speed across the board. There's nothing this card can't do. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, but most importantly, make sure to subscribe right here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.